Mark Zomer here with the Zomer Company. I have a great auction and a great property coming up on auction I'd like to share with you. This auction will be on December 14, 2020, 10:30 a.m. And this historic, iconic auction will be for the Jansma family and the Jansma Cattle Company. This auction will be held out at the site of the feedlot. For those of you from not in the area here, this will be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to purchase an existing ongoing operation. This auction will feature a 4,000 head feedlot that is situated on 114.84 acres. There's also 81.27 acres of farmland that adjoins the feedlot to the south that'll be sold on the very same auction the very same day. I'm here to tell you a little bit about the Jansma Cattle Company and the Jansma history, as this is very important, and we just considered a tremendous honor to represent Norma and her family in the sale of this cattle facility, cattle feedlot, and the farmland that has been in their family for decades. But this first video, I'd like to just tell you a little bit about the Jansma Cattle Company and how it all started and give you a little history on the Jansma family. Walt Jansma and Jenny Van Sloten were married in 1933 and farmed near Leicester, Iowa, so they knew all about the Great Depression and what hard times were. He started buying a few head of cattle at some local sales, and soon he became largely successful in it. And folks, just continued to grow through the years, starting back in the late 1950s. But there was another ingredient quoted in an article in the Lyon County Reporter in 1980, and the fact was that the feeders knew that the cattle that Jansma purchased were good animals, and that they were good order buyers, and they were thrifty at what they did. The Jansmas bought and moved to this quarter southwest of Rock Rapids, where their son Tony grew up and attended country school. In 1956, Tony married Norma Faber of Rock Rapids, and he became seriously interested in the cattle business of his father, and Jansma Cattle Company was formally organized. Folks, just to tell you a little bit about Tony's history, there's an article that we received that is also part of this video. You can look at the clips from this, and it was relating back when he traveled out west to the Harriet livestock market, and obviously, as many of you know, he traveled to several of the livestock markets in several states. But back in Harriet, they put a concrete runway in for him so he could land his twin-engine airplanes out there. And at the prime of that, they also had offices in Rapid City, Mitchell, South Dakota, Billings, Montana, Fargo, North Dakota, and Tony and Norma, of course, made their home in Rock Rapids, Iowa. But quoted in the article here from Harriet Livestock, it was not unusual for Tony to come in on a Friday auction that they had, and he would purchase 2,200 head. He'd purchase 1,800 head out of 4,600 head. It's quoted in the article, and we can give you a copy of it. Very interesting information. Jansma and his right-hand associate, Jim, would fly out to Harriet on Friday to attend the weekly auction, and then they were joined by Don Van Leer, who managed the Jansma Cattle Company's Rapid City office. And it's an interesting quote in here by Mr. Schumacher. They used to have a 3-phone system there, Schumacher said. There was a red phone, a green phone, and a yellow phone. And the gals in the office would page Tony by saying, Tony, red phone. He would race from one side of the bleachers to the other trying to find the right color of the phone. He soon got tired of that, and he put his own phone line in to the livestock auction. Schumacher and Vetter agree that Jansma would get about 50 calls on a Friday when he was purchasing cattle there. The family business also had much help on the background back at home in Rock Rapids. Some of the success of the Jansma operation revolves around 3 things. It was quality, service, and dependability was one of the things they were quoted. One of the reasons they got good service is Norma, their office manager, would divide her time between customers, accounting, and the telephone. All the invoice processing and so forth was taking place at the Rock Rapids office over in in Rock Rapids, Iowa. Folks, just the opportunity to represent them and sell this historic staple in Northwest Iowa. They've affected many in the beef industry. Back in October 25, 1969, Tony was one of the key speakers at the South Dakota Hereford Association event. Just to tell you a little bit of the legacy they've had in the area, quoted back in 2010 in the newspaper article, after Tony passed away in 2004, 2 days before his 70th birthday. He was 69 years old. They painted a mural of the Jansma Cattle Company and Tony and his father on one of the buildings there in Rock Rapids, Iowa. If you come to the area, you need to stop and see it. In 1990, out at the feedlot, They expanded and put their own feed mill system in, their own grain storage in, and it was such a historic event that Governor Terry Branstad came out to help them dedicate that facility. And it's part of the feedlot operation today that's for sale. They also have a 200,000 pound truck scale in front of the feed mill for weighing cattle in and out. I believe they're only one of not very many ground scales in the state of, in Lyon County, Iowa. And also, I know every year they were also received the honor to weigh the 4-H cattle for Lyon County for the fair. And they've done that for decades and have received numerous thank you cards for that. Through this video, you're also going to see some memorabilia of the Jansma family, of their grandkids, some historic newspaper articles, as you can see in this video. There's also a picture of their Jansma Cattle Company cars with all their reps lined up on a picture. There's a picture of Tony by his twin-engine plane. He used to land out in Harriet that we talked about. There's also an interesting thing you'll see in this article. Tony Jansma, president of the Jansma Cattle Company, photo, and some quotes from him. And one of his quotes was, "I can't stay in business if I fill my trucks with headaches. Predictability and performance, that's what the cattle feeders I buy for demand." He also had some other quotes. "You see lots of herds that have more colors than a rainbow. There's no way to tell how such animals will do in a feedlot. Feeders have enough problems to deal with anyhow, so the only way they'll buy low-quality cattle is at prices cheap enough to offset the risk. When it comes to predictable, high feedlot performance and getting top dollar from order buyers like Tony Jansma, Angus always measures up." Folks, we just considered an honor to represent this Jansma family and the opportunity to sell this staple in Northwest Iowa, their 4,000 head feedlot. Again, this auction will be on December 14, 2020 at 10:30 a.m. And if you're even just coming to support Norm and the family, and I'm sure many of you knew Tony and Walt and his family and his children and his son Todd, who's also in the cattle business today, we'd just like to invite you to the auction. Come have a cup of coffee on us, and also congratulate Norma. She's in her early 80s, and she's ready to retire, and she's ready to pass it on to the next generation. And we just want to thank you in advance for coming. Please watch the video of the facilities on our website, and you can see this outstanding facility that we're going to have the opportunity to sell. And on behalf of Norma, her children, her son Todd, who will continue his order buying business, and also her grandchildren, we want to thank you in advance. And thanks again, Norma, for the opportunity to represent you in selling your historic property.